It's been a little while since I last uploaded, so let's have a little chat as to where I've been. So the last upload I made was all the way back in February, so let's go back to Super Bowl weekend. For those of you guys who may remember, my last post on this channel was essentially me talking about how I was feeling under the weather, so I would skip just one day's worth of upload. Well, that one day happened to turn into a 3-month hiatus. So the day before the Super Bowl, I'd just come home from a school trip, and up until that point, I was feeling just fine. But then suddenly the next day during the Super Bowl, for some reason, I started to get really tired and sleepy, and I was feeling super sick. And by the time the third quarter came around of that Super Bowl game, I was already dead asleep. But the thing was that I still had school the next day, and instead of deciding to just take a day off, I decided to continue to go to school. And boy, was that a mistake. The next morning when I woke up, I was feeling miserable. So I decided to skip first period. Feeling a little better, I decided to go to school second period. And considering everything, I was feeling somewhat better. But then third period rolled around. Now, for third period, I have biology. And that day in biology, we had a quiz. So our teacher opened up the quiz, and it was about 20 questions. The first 10 or so questions, I was feeling a-okay. A little bit dizzy, a little bit sleepy, but the usual. Well, halfway through that quiz, I began to feel so dizzy and so tired that I literally cannot take it anymore. It's almost like a wave of nausea just washed over me. And so for the last few questions on that quiz, I literally just read the question and click the first answer that seems half correct. After I finish the last question, I don't even go back to double check my answers. Instead, I just pack up all my stuff and I just slowly walk over to the teacher's table. And at this point, I'm just slowly slugging along towards the teacher's table, where I tell him, "Can I go to the nurse's office?" Thankfully, all the science classes are on the first floor. So I walk down to the nurse's office and ask to go home for the rest of the day. Well, sadly, my troubles didn't end there. That looks good. I just got rubber bands on my braces today, so it hurts so much to talk right now. Now at that point, I was feeling miserable again. When I got home, I immediately just started throwing up, and it was rough. But after my little breakdown, I decided to do some work and go to bed early that day. The following day, I finally learned my lesson, and I decided to take the day off. Even so, I was not getting any better. If anything, I was getting worse. I had diarrhea, I was getting nauseous, just everything felt so horrible. And on top of that, I had a huge tournament coming up at the end of the week, so I somehow had to force myself to feel better. Luckily though, on Thursday, I was feeling much better, and I was able to go to school for the whole day without needing to go home early. On Friday and Saturday, we had that huge tournament I was talking about, and luckily, I felt great during that tournament. And from then on, the illness sort of just faded away slowly. It didn't go away overnight, but luckily it didn't persist for too long afterwards. But anyways, yeah, even to this day, I'm still not sure why I got so sick. I mean, was it the water? Was it the food? Or maybe I just got sick by some virus or something. But what I do know is that after that week, I should have started uploading videos again. And yet, for some reason, I didn't. And it wasn't that I didn't want to make videos, it was just that I had no energy to actually make the video. Every time I had free time for the coming weeks, I always wanted to make these shorts, but I just never had the energy to actually do it. And truthfully, one of the reasons as to why I delayed making these shorts for so long was because I wanted to make a long video like this one to explain why I hadn't been uploading videos. But then I kept procrastinating making this video, and before I realized it, it was already June. Now, to be fair, I did have a bunch of tests. I had a state tournament, and I had the tennis season starting up as well, all during that time period. And so yes, I will take 100% blame for stopping. It was my fault for not making these videos. And so yeah, I hope you guys will enjoy the videos that I have coming up in the next couple of weeks. I don't know how to end this video, so I'm just gonna walk out. Goodbye.